Hey everyone, welcome back to Inside Ambition. I'm your host, Gabrielle Remo, and thank you for joining me on this week's episode of Foresight 2020. In this segment, we cover all things presidential election and all things political panic. While the presidential election is virtually decided, the battle for the Senate is far from over, and today, you and I are going to discuss the runoffs in Georgia. So, sit back, grab a piping hot mug of a warm bev of your choice, and listen to why the American political universe has shined a spotlight on Georgia. Let's get into it. Before we talk about Georgia, let's talk about the Senate and get the fundamentals straight. The Senate is known as the upper house, while the House of Representatives is known as the lower house. The Senate is made up of senators, who would have thought, and each state elects 2 senators. Because of that, it is considered to be the federal house because each state, no matter the size nor the influence, has the same power on the Senate floor as their counterpart. So why is the Senate significant? Well, the Senate holds a lot of power in our democracy. They have the power to try all impeachments and ultimately remove a president if impeached. The Senate has full control over nominations of federal judges, cabinet members, and ambassadors to other countries. And the president nominates, the Senate confirms. The Senate holds its most significant power in ratifying or rejecting treaties negotiated by the president by a 2/3 vote. A GOP Senate was a huge aid towards fulfilling the agendas of President Trump. For those who do not know, GOP stands for the Grand Old Party, which is the Republican Party. They should call it the EBS, Early Bird Special. Guys, I cannot wait to be old and get half off an eggplant parm between the hours of 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. Peace was never an option, but one day, the early bird special at my local diner will be. Truly will be my glory days. And since 2015, Republicans have held the majority of the Senate, and that majority is currently hanging in the balance of Georgia. The GOP may lose both Georgia Senate seats, and that is a consequence that Republicans are scrambling to avoid. If Democrats gain control of both the Georgia Senate seats, the Senate will be split into a 50-50 seat tie. And in the result of a Senate tie, any decision resulting in a tie will be decided by the vice president, which in this case would be Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. This means, essentially, the Democrats will be in control of the Senate. Not to mention that Democrats already have control of the House of Representatives, so this would mean that the Democrats will have full control in our government. So why are the Senate seats in Georgia up for grabs in the first place? Election day was 2 weeks ago, and the votes were already counted, so shouldn't there already be a decided winner? Well, actually, neither Senate seat had a decisive winner who won 50% of the vote. In this situation, the top 2 candidates with the most votes face in a runoff election to decide the winner, which will take place on January 5, 2021. Runoff elections are when a second election is held to determine a winner when no candidate in the first election met the required threshold for victory. Voters in Georgia will have up to 3 weeks to vote prior to January 5th. It is traditionally very difficult for candidates to convince voters to turn out for elections that aren't intertwined with the presidential election. And amidst a pandemic, this will make voter turnout even more difficult. Both Republican and Democrats are pumping cash into this election in order to somehow regain or maintain their dominance in U.S. democracy. Because all other states' elections have been decided, aside from any recounts, Georgia is under the national microscope until the runoffs are decided. And the Peach State is already under fire by Republicans and the Trump administration. If you recall, the election count in favor of Biden had a slim margin of 14,000 votes, and a manual recount was ordered. The Trump administration launched several lawsuits citing voter fraud, including in Chatham County, Georgia. The case was ultimately thrown out, but the recounts continue on in the state. And during this election, Georgia turned blue for the first time it has done so in 28 years. But the presidential election, for the most part, is no longer in anyone's hands. There's a lot at stake with the Senate majority. A green light for a new stimulus deal, healthcare, tax and big spending policies, and judicial nominees are all on the line when deciding this part of the election. The Biden administration will struggle to fulfill their agenda with the Republican Senate, so both parties are anxiously awaiting the results of this runoff. But those are results we will just have to wait for. And while most of us have no say with what happens in Georgia, we can all keep doing what we do by spreading awareness on the issues we find most important. But until next week, thank you for watching this week's episode of Inside Ambition. Remember to be kind in all that you do and to speak with conviction in all that you believe in. Be well.